So back with me now, Roy and Jeff. The offseason is over, you guys. It is back to work, and the Buckeyes have a lot on their shoulders this year. It's no longer the chase. This is now the grind. How will camp be different this year, starting with you, Jeff?
I think it's going to be a pretty normal camp as far as, they always grind these guys. But that little bit extra of they know that they're the national champions. They know teams are going to come after them. They know they're going to get that best shot of everybody. They like to say that they create really difficult events for them to have to respond to all through the weight room, all through the offseason, and that'll continue in camp.
I'll take a different perspective on the grind piece, the backside of it. When I think of teeth grinding or brakes grinding, it's a bad thing. And so it's the wearing down process. And I know that refers to conditioning and those types of things, but the expectation of the team this year coming into the season is much greater than last year. We were unexpected last year. This year, the expectations are through the roof. So getting that different perspective, hey, what's the Buckeyes going to do? Last year was, oh my gosh, we beat Alabama. This year is going to be, wait a minute, they only won by 21 points. Sure. We're going to get judged on so many different levels. So their ego is getting grinded down that way as well.
Okay, so with Braxton Miller switching positions, we'll get to that in a moment. It looks like it's going to be a two-head quarterback race with Cardale Jones and JT Barrett. Looking at that, Urban Meyer says we're going to chart everything and may the best man win. But do you buy that, or do you think Cardale has that spot?
The funny thing about it was he said that, and then in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days recently, he said there has to be a little bit of a gut feeling about it too, and that makes me wonder exactly what direction they're going to go. Does that maybe favor Cardale? Does that make him think that I want Cardale to be the guy in some ways, but is JT the better one when you chart everything out? That's what makes it interesting, because now things are shifting a little bit. But I mean, we'll see it, because when the guys get out there, they'll know. I think by the end,
sure.
Right now you can say what you're going to say, but as camp goes, you'll get the answer. I think as things happen.
Okay.
It's really about momentum, and Cardale has all the momentum in the world, from being on the cover of magazines to tweeting out to Ronda Rousey to having the entire Buckeye Nation behind him because he was the last quarterback to win us a national title. JT Barrett is a dark horse. He's behind the scenes right now. If it's one person that can handle being a backup, it's JT Barrett. I don't know if Cardale Jones will be able to handle being a backup quarterback from an ego standpoint, from an expectation standpoint, from a standpoint that he came back and could have went to the draft last year and gave that up. So I don't know if he could be the backup. I think Coach Meyer made the right decision based on those two things.
Going back to Miller deciding to switch to the H-back position. Now, Urban Meyer says he has not seen him really work at this position. His first time seeing him is going to be in camp. He is so athletic, we know that. But can he be successful on the outside?
I think he'll be great at it. I think that we've seen him on Instagram catching balls, but anybody can catch. People catch. Quarterbacks play catch with each other all the time. Sure. So I think that's not going to be a tremendous kind of adjustment period for him. He'll have to get used to going over the middle some. But I say the H-backs where he's going to be playing, a lot of that is get the ball with some momentum, hit the edge. And I think doing that, he's going to be really good at that. There's some things he's going to have to learn, but his athleticism is so high. He's so natural at it. Yeah. I think that he's going to be able to do that, and he's going to be able to do it really well.
Well, the part of being a receiver that people often overlook is the blocking aspect of it, throwing your shoulder in there. Those are the things that you have to worry about in regards to Braxton Miller, because he has had those shoulder surgeries. Nobody knows what it's like to go in there and crack block on a linebacker or hit a strong safety when you have Ezekiel Elliott running your way. So will he be able to do those things? And then he doesn't have the ball in his hands every single play. You get 5 or 6 chances as a receiver to make a play, and the other 50 plays you're on the field is checking yourself. Well, I should have got the ball that time. Why didn't he look my way? This is ridiculous. They need to throw me the football. And that's where Braxton Miller has to make an adjustment to, the biggest adjustment.
It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, switching to the defensive side of the ball. Lost a couple starters, a few starters I should say, but they're getting back some key guys. Joey Bosa starting with him, then Adolphus Washington, and a really big leader in Joshua Perry at linebacker. Can they pick up from where they left off last season?
I think for the most part, yeah. So many of those guys came back and have so much momentum on their side now. You think of guys like Darren Lee, Eli Apple were young guys that got their feet wet last year. They used to be so much better this year. And then the veterans are so strong. Guys like Joshua Perry is that great leader. You look at up front, a guy like Adolphus Washington very well could be a captain, represented the team in Chicago. They have that new song out about the Silver Bullets being back. I think that, in defense, you got to have some swagger. You got to want to hit guys in the mouth, and I think they're feeling that right now.
I don't ever worry about the defense, the silver bullets. They kill werewolves. They do a lot of different crazy things. I don't worry about it. The linebacking core is phenomenal. The defensive front is amazing. In the secondary, they like to fly around the football. So I'm not worried about the defense. Offensively, there's some questions because we don't know how the football is going to be spread around. But defensively, we'll be dominant as always.
Well, one thing that we do know this year is, Ohio State is going to be on the national map, and they are going to have a magnifying glass. So it should be interesting to see how it all unfolds. We're looking forward to it. I know you guys were looking forward to having you here the rest of the season to break everything down. Thank you so much, Jeff Svoboda, Roy Hall, for joining me tonight. Well